word about Robbie. We just saw him grinning from ear to ear holding that trophy. Such a special time for Roberto Di Matteo.
Like a Cheshire Cat, wasn't he? Unbelievable. He deserves it. Robbie, he come to the club, you know, in the summer, and, you know, it was reported that it wasn't really what he wanted to do, to be an assistant manager. It was reported that he wanted to be a manager still. You know, he had his troubles when he was at West Brom. But he got thrown in at the deep end when the club was in turmoil, basically. We lost our manager. We lost, you know, everything about the football club. The spirit had gone out of the boys. And Robbie had to put that all together and get the boys going again. And he
happy with everything that Robbie's done.
Can't beat that, can you? To be honest, yeah. I mean, if you were going to say to us 3 months ago that this was all going to happen, Gigi, you know, we'd have never had agreed with you. We'd have thought you were absolutely barking mad. But here we are. You know, let's enjoy this, because it's been, you know, a roller coaster of a season in some ways. But it certainly looks like we're on the up again, and let's hope it continues for a long time.
He is a very cool customer, but it was wonderful to see the emotion when he was talking to Neil in the media zone, and he was just smiling, just couldn't contain it.
Emotion takes it out of you. I mean, that certainly does. If you can't enjoy that sort of period of time, when can you in football? And that's what it's all about. You know, it's hard graft. You know, Frank talks about physical side of it, but the mental side of it for those players as well has been immense. And for Robbie, you know, he's had to take it all on. You know, he didn't know what was going to happen, but what has happened for him and the lads has been absolutely wonderful. And they've all pulled together. It's been a team effort. JT talks about that. The lads pulled us through. You know, the team ethics, the team thoughts, the mentality, the strength has all helped pull us through. So it's all come together at the right time.
Now the fans are cheering not because the buses have arrived, but a poor unfortunate gentleman just got whacked by a celery plant, and he held it aloft as if it was his own little Champions League trophy, and everyone cheered. I did warn you about the celery, didn't I?
Yeah, you wasn't wrong about the old crash helmet shout, that's for sure. But, you know, it's dangerous being up here, but, you know, everyone's out here enjoying themselves. They're all having a great time. Celery, the history of the football club, it was going to be expected today.
Wonderful to see the shots of the buses. They are moving. Of course it's going to be a slow process, because they're making their way through the streets of thousands of fans, and they want to see all the fans. They want to savour this and take their time.
Yeah, I mean, when I've done it before, you want the bus to go as slow as possible, because the fans, at this stage, this is what it's all about. You know, they've gone through every emotion, the players. They've gone through the play inside, the beating the big teams as well, which we've done along the way. The winning of the trophy, you know, the euphoria they had last night. They've come back down to earth now. They're back in their home territory now with the people who love them to pieces. And now they want to see everybody. They want to see everybody's face. They want to see the youngsters, the older ones who've been here for many, many years. And they want to see smiles on their faces too. And I think it's important that the players do that and go as slowly as possible.
Clive, look at that trophy at the front of the bus. It is the Champions League trophy. It's got Chelsea ribbons on it. It belongs to us.
Well, it does belong to us, and I for one, would love to go and pick it up as well. You know, it means that much. You know, yeah, it does mean that much to you, doesn't it, Frank? I mean, you know, we've been through different times and different periods for Chelsea Football Club, but to see that trophy, to just hold on to it for a few seconds would be really great, just for us, because we're fans now as well.
You do want to pinch yourself a little bit. We said this in the phone-in show last night. Remember, Tony Dorigo was sitting there thinking, it hasn't sunk in. Are we champions of Europe? But it hasn't hit me till tomorrow.
The adversity that the boys have been through to get to this stage has been unreal. You know, there's so many to mention. The periods against Barcelona, the Napoli game, coming back from that. People didn't fancy us even against Benfica. You know, we've always been written off all the way through this tournament, and they've had to dig deep. Every player that's been involved when they've been called upon, they've had to dig deep. We've not got this easy. It's not been given to us at any stretch of the imagination, and the boys have earned it fully.
So here we go. The buses, two of them, they're just making their way out of the Stamford Bridge complex. On the first bus, you've got the first team squad, and on the back bus, you have coaching staff, you've got friends, you've got relatives. The journey is going to be a slow one, as we mentioned, as they leave. Everyone's going to be clapping on. Clive, you just can't help but smile when you see these pictures.
You're absolutely spot on with that. I mean, I've never seen so many smiling faces for such a long time. Even now, you know, we can turn around and see the fans behind us. You know, everybody's smiling, and I'm sure that's when they hit Frank on the head with a pinch of celery. But other than that, the flags are waving, the whistles are going. You know, they're going to song as well, which is always good to hear. But yeah, smiling faces. That's what it's all about today, Gigi.
You look at the players at just arrived at the club. Juan Mata, Chelsea's Player of the Year, unfortunately missed his penalty last night. But at the end of his first season, he's sitting on this bus with the European trophy to go with his World Cup winners' medal and the FA Cup.
Phenomenal. He's getting a nice little collection together already, you know, and I'm sure he'll be here and be challenging for the Premiership next season as well, which is very important for this football club. We haven't had it for a few years now, and it's like we've got to be up there to challenge for that now. That's the next step, without a doubt.
It's just nice seeing them up there, looking at the fans. They haven't been hit by a new celery. I think they're saving all that for us and the gentleman next to us. But for the likes of John Terry and Frank Lampard, Clive, what is this going to mean for them?
I mean, it's something that we discussed, over many years now with Frank and JT, because they've been here for so long. They've been part of all the build-up to try and get there. We've all talked about it, of course. It's been Roman Abramovich's icon. It's the one thing he's wanted that everybody's talked about. It certainly looked that way last night when he was enjoying grabbing hold of the trophy. So for him and JT and Lamps, it's just the top of their career. They'll look back on it, as being the pinnacle.
A little bit concerned seeing fans climb on top of traffic lights to get a view.
Yeah, I just hope nobody don't obviously get injured. It's a day for enjoying ourselves, and all the fans are here together, to celebrate this great achievement. But it's all about having fun, really, and the spirit of the whole supporters at the moment seems very good.
And again, looking at the bus, it's a mixture of the players, the backroom staff. There's a couple of members of security who've worked here for years and years, because this is what it's about. It's not just about the 11 players on the field. It's about each and every person that is involved with this football club.
Yeah, I mean, I can go back obviously a lot further than a lot of people at this club. I remember, when the East Stand was built, back in 73, 74, and the problems the club had with money, nearly went out of business.
I hated the East Stand when I was a apprentice. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a long time ago.
Fantastic, isn't it? but there's a lot of things that people could talk about with history. There's a lot of things that people remember. There's a lot of backroom staff that are not with us anymore that would have loved to have been here on this occasion as well. And they've all been part and parcel of where we are today. We talked about it so many times, about it being so important for the club moving on as well. What an important occasion to actually win this trophy and it be part of what goes on in the future, because we need to keep investing, we need to keep moving on to stay with the likes of Man City, United and anybody else that wants to challenge us.
Now it's worth mentioning again the FA Cup, because they are clutching onto that European Cup at the front of the bus. They're sort of waving the FA Cup round the side, so everyone can grab hold of the FA Cup, but they're not letting go of the European Cup.
Absolutely, it's the pinnacle of your career, and to say that you've won that, it doesn't happen to many players. You've got to be top of the tree to actually win this competition, because bad players don't win this. Simple as that. And these boys are going to milk today, and it's just thoroughly deserved, because they shouldn't forget this day, and the bus should go as slow as it can and get around, let all the supporters see the players, let the players get eye contact with the supporters, wave. They'll recognise people, they'll know people in the crowd, you'll recognise them, and just thoroughly just enjoy this moment.
Yeah, we're with this parade every step of the way, Clive. It doesn't matter how long it takes, we're going to be here, it's going to stop in front of us. Then I remember in 2010 we had a little bit of singing. I think Carlo Ancelotti broke out into song, and that's going to be the great moment when the bus comes to a standstill here.
Well, I was just going to say that the volume has risen, hasn't it?
Wow.
In the last 10 minutes while we've been on air, and I'm just beginning to think, geez, if you start talking when that bus stops, we won't hear a thing. I mean, it is absolutely getting very electric. It's absolutely terrific.
Well, we saw a little bit earlier, they've got big screens and they were showing a news channel and they had some of the highlights from last night, and suddenly everybody erupted because they were seeing that winning penalty, they were seeing the players arrive back at the airport.
Absolutely, this will be broadcasted all around the world, because we've got supporters everywhere, as far as, the Far East and stuff like that. And everybody will get a chance to see this today. And, for the people that couldn't be here, that would love to be here, from the people that haven't got back from the game last night yet, it's brilliant that they can still share this on TV.
It certainly is. So the noise levels are rising. We're waiting to get our pictures through from the bus. We're with it every step of the way. It can take as long as it likes. It doesn't matter. It will end up right where we are. You have the best seat in the house. But I just wanted to tell you, if you're starting to feel a little bit sad that that's the end of the football and then you've got the Euros, why not look at the pre-season tour, because we are off to America. Our timetable has been confirmed, and just in case you want to plan your tickets, get yourself out there, here for you is how pre-season is shaping up for Chelsea.
so hot. Hey, how's it?
You can see live on Chelsea TV, and the buses you're just seeing in your shot, they are the buses that brought the players and the trophy from the airport. They've delivered them to Stamford Bridge. As you know, they're on the buses. What we were a little bit worried about when we were looking at that were the fans sitting on top of traffic lights, posts, signs. They look a little bit precarious, Frank.
It does, yeah, but it's their way of getting the best seat in the house, as you could call it. But it's a bit dangerous. I wouldn't do that myself. But, you know, as long as there's no injuries today and everything, and everyone goes home happy and gets the opportunity to see the players and the trophy and the management and every backroom staff, everyone involved, you know, that's the main thing. They're just trying to find, Clive, every vantage point possible to see these buses.
Can't blame them, can you? I mean, there's a couple of big trees to one side. I was thinking there might be a few people up there in a minute as well.
Let's not encourage that.
I won't encourage it, no, but I wouldn't be surprised.
But it is definitely, the noise levels are increasing. I'm just comparing it to 2010 and the experiences there. It feels there are more people. There's definitely the same amount of celery here, Clive. But it feels like there are more people here, and you just know that when these buses arrive, it's going to go mental.
It is. It's an expectancy, isn't it? It's something you're sort of just hanging around and waiting for. You know it's going to come, and rightly so. You know, it should be really, really loud. We shouldn't be able to hear ourselves speak, because that's what it's all about. It's all about the enjoyment of it, and that's what they're going to give us in a few minutes' time.
Now, every player wants to be on the bus. Every player wants to be a part of it, and I think it was quite a sad story, but quite amusing in some senses. Damien Duff, in 2005, he didn't make the parade because he'd lost his passport. They were out of the country, the Far East, and he couldn't make it back. How must he feel watching that parade? Because you want to be, Frank, you've been on buses, you want to be on the bus.
You want to be a part of it. It's what I never knew that story, so I'm gutted for him myself, because it's all winning things. It's all about you getting the achievement, but then being able to enjoy it afterwards. And there's no point being not able to do things like take pictures with your family and cherish these things forever if you're not going to be there to celebrate it afterwards. And you know, everyone involved, all the families, all the players, the management and everyone, you know, they'll take it in turns and having these cherished pictures that they can keep for life.
Well, I love seeing these shots of how they celebrated last night. It's notable the absence of alcohol on the tables, but maybe they had all the champagne in the dressing rooms, they ran out.
Oh, I expect they did behind the closed doors usually. I was going to say that's a different story if it had been for Frank and I. If it was, you know, we'd have had to have some alcohol on the table, but you know, it's a different story these days, and you know, they're very much aware of fitness and what they need to do, and I think behind closed doors they'll probably have a few quiet glasses of wine, maybe the odd beer.
And Frank, we asked you if you got much sleep while you were celebrating. You probably got a little bit more than the players.
Without a doubt, I'd imagine so. If I was part of the team, there would have been no one in my side sleeping, that's for sure. Without a doubt, we would have been up all night celebrating it. After you get the relief of it actually happening, and you get the chance to just, you know, sit back and just basically just think about what you've just achieved. After that, it's all about celebrations, and it's, you know, they can only do so much, because a lot of these guys, internationals, and they'll have duties to do, you know, in the summer, and you know, there's no rest for the wicked, as they say, but they're good players and it's expected.
It's unbelievable to think how long this season's been and how many games some of those